excitement began to build as the falconer and his crew were now one step closer to their final destination. But they would still have to endure a 3-hour drive through the mountains before they would meet up with Kinchebek of the Kinchebek tribe. The traveling crew was excited to meet up with Kinchebek, as it meant they were nearing their final destination. He would take them by horseback because this is Mongolia's end of the cold season, and the natural springs beneath the tundra begin to rise, creating rivers where dry land was just moments earlier. After an exhausting 3.5 days of travel, the falconer and his crew had reached the province where the Eagle Masters were known to reside. It's a native custom that all visitors should pay their respects to the eldest member of the community, so the falconer and his crew were invited to her home. She is 103 years of age.
We met early today.
It was the highest honor one could receive to have been offered a select sheep from their family flock to be slaughtered for the up-and-coming feasts and celebrations. Different parts of the sheep would be prepared and served at meal times over the next few days.
The Eagle Masters and myself share a common bond. We both, the birds of prey, were the reason for us coming together. But now I see, by coming here, we're from the West, you guys from here, many, many miles apart. And even though we have different religious backgrounds, everything, I come together here and I feel like family. And I thank you very much for that. As a token of appreciation for the hospitality, I give you a gift. Thank you. Thank you.
After dinner, the crew fell asleep as they were exhausted from the long journey.
Let me give you an idea of how self-sufficient this nomadic tribe is. Every single one of their homes are made out of bricks that they make out of the clay that the land provides. Each home's electricity is powered by solar energy that charges batteries that runs their lights at night. And for a heat source, they actually burn the dried dung from the cattle and the horses. They collect it and they store it on rooftops like this, and the sun dries it. And once it's been dried, it's kind of like a coal for them, like burning coal. And that is actually a very eco-friendly way to heat their homes.
A gear was constructed for the travelers a few days prior to their arrival, and much work and pride was taken in its construction and interior design. This would be the falconer's accommodations for the remainder of his stay.
What we've got here behind us is our sleeping accommodations for me and my crew. It is known as a gear. It is the traditional family home for the people of this region. Believe it or not, it wasn't here just 3 days ago. When they found out for sure what day we were coming, they had 1 day's notice. The entire village came together and constructed this in 1 day. So come on inside and let me show you what it looks like. Now, however simplistic this building looks on the outside, believe me, it is very intricate and detailed on the inside. There are multitudes of rafters that come out, kind of like an Indian-style teepee, okay, that support the roof. It's got 8 layers for the walls, and it's on the inside, it's lined with just some of the most beautiful hand-sewn tapestries you'll ever see. The women of the village here are taught at a very early age how to embroider and how to spin their own threads. They dye their own threads, and all of that material comes from the goats and the sheep that they shear. And that's how they pretty much live here. Very, very simplistic. There's two of the Eagle Masters have just shown up right now. They're going to be traveling with us, and we'll be hunting with these 2 gentlemen.
Alec and Sakal were eager to show the falconer their eagles.
I want to express my gratitude and appreciation for allowing me to come here and visit you and spend time with you. The main reason I came here was to learn from you. Back home, I am now allowed with my license as a master to hunt with golden eagles. But just because I have the license does not mean I am prepared. So I came across the world to visit you because your culture is known as the original eagle masters, and your people have been hunting with golden eagles for thousands and thousands of years. So I wanted to come here personally and train with you first.
Алыс жолда міне өздерің бүйтіп келгендеріңе біз де қуаныштымыз. Сендерге де көп рахмет. Ақ жол болсын, жолдарың болсын. Біз де мына кішкене құс жағынан білмеген нәрселерімізді сендерден biz de bileyik, sender de bizden bilmegen burungu нәрселер болса сендер de үйреніңдер.
Over the next several days, Alec and Sakal showed the falconer their training techniques. They perch their eagles on the hilltops and then call them to the glove from long distances. Here, the lures are made of hide appropriate to the quarry they most often fly, which is foxes and hares. The keen eyes of the eagle spotted a hare and took off after it. The wise rabbit put on the brakes just before impact, and the eagle flew right over it. It took an entire afternoon to get to the mountain for the hunt, and it was all over in a matter of seconds. Flying eagles in the mountains is much like flying falcons back home. Much more goes into the preparation, travel, and location of quarry than does the hunt itself.
Today when we were hunting, I saw you tie some thread around some of the eagle's feathers. You tied some thread on those feathers, and I want to know why.
Bizde болғанда енді мынау қыстыгүнгі кез емес. Біз енді мысалы қыстыгүнгі аңға шығатын кезімізде, мысалы 10 айдан бастап 11 ай, 12 ай, 1 ай деп барып мысалы, 2 айдан бастап мына бүркітімізді бірақ тойындырып отырғызатын болып отырмыз ғой. Аңға салмаймыз. Өйткені мына ауа райы өте жылынып кетеді.
Ayday jurga tayak bikeş mana toy kızıldan burlatça ayday gurbum zavlatçay Şıngıldı ösken asqaradan oy sen barışar Dolor day 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 jurga tayak bikeş mana toy kızıldan Yorgaçay gurbum zavdaçay Köşek daydım baram Oy kolgalayın köpçülükten aldına Eni salayın day 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 Yorgatay keşmana toy Tak borgaçay gurbum zavdaçay
Thank you very much for inviting me to your home. The reason I wanted to come over is I'm very interested in seeing how you keep your birds outside where they live and what you use for equipment.
Тэгээд би энэ барьж байгаа бүргүүдийг одоо яаж хамгаална гэвэл өвөл болохоор хитэн болохоор бүр энэ гэрт оруулаад энэ орна нааталда суулгаад ингэж хариулт шингэн ийгэж байгаа. Зум болохоор дулаан гадаг гаргаад энэ үүчг жижиг байшин тэнд оруулаад тэнд хамгаалаад нохоо шуунаас хамгаалаад ингэж хамгаалдаг шууган бүргүүдэн ингэж энэ бүргүүднийг хэрэгэлдэг юм энэ биялегас эклат нөгөө балдагас эклат нөгөө суулгудаг бив бэтчик баяртай байна танарт тэгээд энэ бүргүүдийг сайхан хамгаалж сайхан малнаа битнэ.
The Eagle Master's housing facilities were very simple, but yet their equipment and perches were very different than anything he had seen before. He was amazed to see such intricate detail and superb craftsmanship that went into the creation of the anklets, jesses, and hood. Just seeing such craftsmanship up close and in real life is an experience that very few falconers in the world have seen. A gift of knowledge that will now become a part of who he is as a falconer and will someday be passed down to the next generation. This is the way it has been for thousands of years.
What is your favorite type of eagle to fly? A baby eagle that you take from the nest and raise it from a small one? Or do you like to trap birds that are young birds like 8 or 9 months old?
Асырап ұстағанға жаңағы ұядан алған кішкене қол бала жақсы. Енді тауға шығып мына аңға салғанда дүзден түскен әгі үлкен құсты аңға салған сол жақсы болады. Осында екі түр нәсті болады.
For several days the falconer hunted, and although the eagles were sharp and eager to hunt, it was difficult to find game. This was the end of the hunting season, and just like back home, the game that remains are the oldest, wisest, and strongest of prey, making it difficult to secure a catch. As in all forms of wildlife, the strong will ensure the survival of their species, and their numbers will be replenished in the up-and-coming spring. A large fox was spotted way off in the distance, and the eagle was eager to take it. But by the time the eagle had got within position for the stoop, the fox had made it to cover. The falconers had been hunting since daybreak and had traveled several hours to get to the summit so the hunt could take place. And once again, all for one chance at catching a game animal. By early afternoon, the falconers were tired, and all were thirsty, including the birds, who thought a drink at the cool riverside was in order. They now had a 2-hour horseback ride back to camp, where a good meal and an evening of rest was waiting for them.